Hey, welcome back to ScreenCrush. I'm Ryan Airy, and this is everything you need to know before watching Captain America: Brave New World. So guys, there is a lot of MCU history for us to go through, so let's get started. And I am so excited to show you guys these brand new Cap parody merch designs that we have at our merch store. There's the America's Ass commemorative stamp, the Ross 24 shirt, and the 8-bit RPG where Cap is presented with the choice: ask if anyone wants to get out or hail Hydra. These are available as t-shirts or hoodies for cold weather, and we love designing all of our Marvel parody shirts for you guys, and you can find these and other designs on our merch shelf below. So let's go back to Captain America: First Avenger. A German scientist named Abraham Erskine creates a serum that can enhance a soldier's body, giving them super strength, enhanced durability, faster healing, and the serum also amplifies the mind, specifically personality traits. So a person who's already morally good will become even better, but someone with bad intentions will become evil and unstable. Erskine's formula gets the attention of Johann Schmidt, the leader of Hydra. That's the Nazi science division that wants to take over the world.
Hail Hydra.
Now Schmidt takes the serum before it's ready, and it literally burns the skin from his body, transforming him into the evil Red Skull. The Red Skull hunts down a cosmic artifact called the Tesseract, which actually Odin had hidden on Earth hundreds of years ago. And the Tesseract contains the Space Stone, one of the 6 Infinity Stones, the most powerful objects in the universe. Red Skull's minion, Arnim Zola, weaponizes the Tesseract to build weapons for Hydra. Now Erskine later escapes Germany and is now working for the US military to create a super soldier for the US military. Meanwhile, in Brooklyn, a scrawny kid named Steve Rogers repeatedly tries and fails to enlist in the army. Steve is a good man with a good heart, and he stands up to bullies even if they're twice his size.
I can do this all day.
Steve's best friend Bucky Barnes is about to ship out to war, and on their last night out, Steve slips away to once again try to join the military.
There are men laying down their lives. I got no right to do any less than them.
Erskine overhears Steve and recognizes that he is the perfect candidate for the serum.
Because a strong man who has known power all his life may lose respect for that power, but a weak man knows the value of strength and knows compassion.
And those words aren't just important for Steve. This also explains why Sam is going to be worthy of the shield. It's about the man and not the super juice. Steve meets a few key people: Howard Stark, scientific genius and Tony's father, and Peggy Carter, an agent of the Allied forces, and of course the love of Steve's life. So with Erskine's serum, Stark's technology, and Vita radiation, Steve transforms into a super soldier. But then, a Hydra agent blows up the place and kills Erskine, and with him, the secrets of the super serum are lost. Now remember this, because there's going to be so many attempts to recreate the serum, but Steve is always going to be one of a kind. So you guys know that this is going to be a huge year for us nerds. We have an embarrassment of riches with Star Wars and DC and Marvel movies and shows, and for me, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like, I love my job, but when we get really busy like this, my anxiety kicks into high gear, and to cope with my high anxiety, I developed these facial tics where I'll clench my jaw or bite the inside of my mouth. And these kind of oral fixation habits are really self-destructive, and I'm sure that you guys have your own bad habits that you use to cope with stress. So my major New Year's resolution this year was to get control of my anxiety and to end those bad oral fixation habits. So I'm glad that I have Fume. They're the sponsor of this video. Fume is an award-winning flavored air device that draws flavor into your mouth and not into your lungs. It's a great way to satisfy your oral fixation with non-toxic flavors, and it's safe to use anywhere. So I want to show you guys, there is no vapor in here. This does not need batteries, and you don't need to charge it. It just has these plant-based cores that come in delicious flavors like crisp mint, orange vanilla, raspberry lemon, and many more. So with this flavored air, you can satisfy your oral fixation through a passive diffusion system that uses no electronics, vapor, or combustion. Also, I like the way it looks, and I love how it's weighted, and it's also a great fidget tool that makes an incredibly satisfying sound. Fume is also a huge money saver at 1/3 of the cost of your bad habit. It's completely safe, and they continuously invest in third-party studies to ensure the safety of their products, and it's backed by doctors in the United States. Fume has already helped more than 300,000 people build better habits. Now, if you try Fume today and order a journey pack using our code ScreenCrush, you'll also get a free Fume topper, an awesome accessory to help level up your experience. So go to tryfume.com/ScreenCrush or scan the QR code on screen right now. Now, back to what I was saying. Steve becomes Captain America, a propaganda tool used to sell war bonds and boost troop morale. But then Bucky Barnes is captured by Hydra, so Steve puts his superpowers to great use, discovering the Tesseract-powered weapons, encountering the Red Skull, and freeing Bucky and the other soldiers. Afterwards, Captain America officially joins the war with a shield made of vibranium, the most powerful metal on Earth that can only be found in Wakanda. Steve and his Howling Commandos turn the tide against Hydra, but everything goes wrong during a mission when Bucky supposedly falls to his death. But the Allies still capture Zola, who tells them about the Red Skull's plans. The Commandos attack the base as Steve fights his way on board a plane loaded with Hydra bombs to destroy every major city on Earth. During his fight with the Red Skull, the Tesseract activates and sends Red Skull to a galaxy far, far away. The plane is on its way to bomb the US, and so Steve has no choice and he crashes it into the ice, just as he and Peggy schedule a date.
And you couldn't have jumped out of the plane before you crashed it?
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Now, a few years after World War II, Peggy, Howard Stark, and Tommy Lee Jones form S.H.I.E.L.D., the super-secret agency that protects the world.
Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement and Logistics Division.
God, you need a new name for that.
Yeah.
So, for his sacrifice, Captain America is immortalized as a symbol of heroism and fighting for freedom. But this also starts an arms race to create more super soldiers, and the first one is Bucky. It turns out he survived the fall because he had some super serum in his veins. But where'd he get the super juice from? Well, it turns out that Zola injected him with his own version of the super serum.
What kind of super serum did you get?
I don't know, regular. Hydra.
Hydra? Oh, fancy.
So, Hydra agents take Bucky to Russia, and he's brainwashed into becoming the Winter Soldier, a super assassin with a metal arm who kills countless people on Hydra's orders, including Tony Stark's parents. Now, during the Cold War, the military experimented on black soldiers to create new super soldiers, including a man named Isaiah Bradley. In the 1950s, he even fought the Winter Soldier.
We met in 51.
If by met you mean I whooped your ass, then yeah.
But this experimental serum made most of the soldiers unstable and many of them died. The military covered up the experiments by locking Isaiah in prison for 3 decades. He finally escaped with the help of a nurse who took pity on him and then faked his death. After Bucky, Hydra created other super soldiers, but they were too unstable, so they were put on ice. The Soviet Union did succeed in creating their own Captain America, though, the Red Guardian.
Captain America, my great adversary.
Now, after 9/11, an Army general named Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross was charged with spearheading a new super soldier program. Now, Ross is a decorated and vicious Army general who is willing to protect his nation by any means necessary. To create a new super soldier, he recruits Bruce Banner, a brilliant scientist who is dating Ross's daughter, Betty. But Banner used gamma radiation instead of Vita rays, and the experiment went horribly wrong, transforming him into the green rage monster, the Hulk. And you know how it goes, whenever Bruce gets angry, he turns into the Hulk.
Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Ross wants to create more Hulks, so Bruce goes into hiding to research a cure for himself. So he turns to Samuel Stearns, a cellular biologist.
I've always been more curious than cautious, and that served me pretty well.
They are able to reverse the Hulk transformation temporarily. But it turns out that Stearns was running experiments with Banner's blood, and he wants to mass produce the Hulk juice to benefit humanity and to win a Nobel Prize for himself.
This gamma technology has limitless applications.
Ross is obsessed with capturing the Hulk, so he recruits an elite soldier with CGI abs named Emil Blonsky and gives him some super serum to balance the scales. However, Blonsky goes kind of psycho. Remember, the super serum amplifies personality traits. After Banner is captured, Blonsky forces Stearns to give him some more super juice, but this transforms him into
an abomination.
Some of Banner's blood drips into an open wound on Stearns' head and he starts mutating. His brain starts growing, and this is how he becomes the leader. Hulk defeats Abomination, but Ross still hates Banner and is hostile toward all superheroes. And in Avengers tie-in comics Fury's Big Week, it's revealed that Stearns is arrested by Black Widow and taken to a S.H.I.E.L.D. facility. But it's unclear if this story is actually canon. In 2011, S.H.I.E.L.D. discovered the frozen body of Steve Rogers in the Arctic. They unfreeze him, and then Steve meets S.H.I.E.L.D. director Nick Fury.
I had a date.
Fury is also working on a project called the Avengers Initiative, a team of superhumans who will protect the world against alien threats. But in secret, S.H.I.E.L.D. is studying the Tesseract, which Howard Stark found in the ocean. But the Space Stone activates, bringing the Norse god Loki to Earth.
I am Loki of Asgard, and I am burdened with glorious purpose.
So Loki was sent to Earth by the Mad Titan Thanos, who is trying to gather all of the Infinity Stones. So Loki's job is to retrieve the Space Stone and then lead an attack on Midgard. Thanos gives Loki a scepter that contains the Mind Stone, allowing him to mind control people. So Fury assembles the Avengers: Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, and Hawkeye. Steve has difficulty acclimating to the modern world, and he and Tony don't really get along.
Big man in a suit of armor. Take that off, what are you?
Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
But eventually, Steve and Tony assemble the Avengers and save the world from Loki and the Chitauri invasion. And this brings us to Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
It was perfect. Perfect.
So, 2 years after the Battle of New York, Steve is still adjusting to his new life when he meets Sam Wilson.
Don't say it.
Don't you say it.
left.
Come on!
Sam is a former U.S. Air Force special pilot, but he doesn't fly planes, he uses the Falcon wingsuit. He left active duty after his wingman Riley died on a mission. After leaving the service, Sam helps veterans who are recovering from trauma. And when he meets Steve, Sam's empathy creates an immediate bond between the two veterans.
It's your bed, right? Your bed is too soft.
Lying on a marshmallow. I feel like I'm gonna sink right to the floor.
Steve is now an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., part of a strike team that includes Natasha Romanoff and Brock Rumlow, and together, they take down a guy named Batroc the Leaper. But on this mission, Black Widow secretly downloads encrypted data, and Steve is angry that the real mission was kept from him, so he confronts Fury. So then, Fury shows him Project Insight. This is a reactionary deterrent to the Battle of New York. 3 helicarriers are linked to a satellite, and by using a sophisticated algorithm, S.H.I.E.L.D. can preemptively eliminate threats before they happen. Like Minority Report. Exactly. But when Steve discovers what S.H.I.E.L.D. is planning, he wants no part of it.
This isn't freedom. This is fear.
However, the twist is that Project Insight is all a part of an evil plan created by Hydra.
Hail Hydra!
All right, put your arms down, Kaminsky. Look like a West Texas cheerleader at a pep rally.
Oh my gosh, they're still around? Yes, because
They cut off one head. 2 more shall take its place.
after the war, S.H.I.E.L.D. recruited Arnim Zola as part of Operation Paperclip, a real-life program where the U.S. government employed Nazi scientists. Zola allowed Hydra to infiltrate S.H.I.E.L.D., and then from there, they grew like a parasite. After his death, Zola's mind was then uploaded into a computer. Project Insight is based on his algorithm to eliminate any threats to Hydra so they can rise up and rule the world. Fury suspects something is off with Project Insight, so he confronts Alexander Pierce, the secretary of the World Security Council, who is also secretly part of Hydra. So Pierce sends the Winter Soldier to assassinate Fury, but before Fury is killed, he gives Steve a flash drive of all this Project Insight data. Steve and Natasha follow the trail that leads them to Zola and uncover Hydra's plan. After Hydra tries to kill them, Steve and Natasha seek help from Sam. And this right here tells you everything you need to know about Sam's integrity as a hero.
Captain America needs my help. There's no better reason to get back in.
After they interrogate a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent who's with Hydra, they are attacked by the Winter Soldier. So Steve and the Winter Soldier have one of the best hand-to-hand fights in the MCU, including this sweet knife flip. The fight ends with Steve discovering that the Winter Soldier is actually Bucky.
Who the hell is Bucky?
Afterwards, we find out that Fury is alive and they form a plan to expose Hydra and stop Project Insight. But Steve understands that S.H.I.E.L.D. is also guilty with all the secrets and manipulations, and Bucky is their victim. Falcon and Captain America team up to stop the helicarriers, while Natasha and Fury confront Pierce. The Winter Soldier shows up and fights Steve. Sam fights Rumlow, and Fury kills Pierce. So Hydra is about to commit genocide, but at the last second, Steve saves the day and the helicarriers are destroyed. Steve saves the Winter Soldier and tries to free Bucky from brainwashing. This triggers something in Bucky because he saves Steve's life. In the end, S.H.I.E.L.D. as we know it ceases to exist while Steve and Sam team up to fight Bucky.
You don't have to come with me.
I know. When do we start?
So, Hydra was exposed, but it didn't stop them from doing evil stuff. After the Battle of New York, Hydra used the Mind Stone inside Loki's scepter to create new superhumans. Wanda and Pietro Maximoff gained powers from the Mind Stone. Well, Wanda is actually a witch. You know what? Let's not go there.
He's fast and she's weird.
The Avengers reassemble to retrieve the scepter from Hydra, but during the battle, Wanda uses her mind control magic on Tony and triggers a vision that shows him dead Avengers and aliens invading Earth. So now, Tony is obsessed with creating a deterrent that will stop another alien invasion. Tony and Banner discover that the Mind Stone contains a complex AI, and with that, they create Ultron. But Ultron turns into a murder bot that wants to kill all humans.
Every time someone tries to win a war before it starts, innocent people die.
Ultron recruits Wanda and Pietro and they help him to fight the Avengers. After Wanda mind controls Banner, the Hulk goes on a rampage and the whole world becomes terrified of this green rage monster.
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
Ultron plans to use vibranium to build himself a perfect body that will house the Mind Stone. Then he will trigger an apocalyptic event that will destroy all lesser life on Earth. But Wanda and Pietro discover his plans and they end up helping the Avengers. The heroes capture Ultron's new body, and then Tony and Bruce create the Vision. And he proves that he's a good robo guy because he is worthy to lift Thor's hammer.
It's not like a person lifting the hammer.
Right. Different rules for us.
Nice guy, artificial.
The Avengers defeat Ultron, but Sokovia turns into a crater and Pietro is killed, and the Hulk also goes on a self-imposed exile into space. Now, in the end, the heroes meet up in the new Avengers compound where Steve and Natasha assemble these new Avengers. Speaking of new heroes, Sam meets Ant-Man and they have a bit of a tussle.
Sorry about this.
Scott Lang works with Hope Van Dyne and Hank Pym using a shrinking suit to break into the Avengers compound. It's all part of a heist to stop an evil rich guy from taking over the world.
Those evil rich guys always doing evil stuff. Stupid evil rich guys.
A few months later, the Avengers are on a mission in Lagos to stop Rumlow from stealing a biological weapon. Sam fits the new team perfectly, and he proves that even with no superpowers, he can still kick ass with his skills and awesome wings, and not to mention his adorable flying drone.
I'm not thinking that thing.
His name is Red Wing.
I'm still not thinking it.
He's cute. Go ahead, pet him.
The Avengers stop Rumlow, but then he says,
Hey, pal, your buddy, your Bucky.
Why did you say that name?
Steve gets distracted, allowing Rumlow to blow himself up. So Wanda contains the explosion, but accidentally throws him directly at a building, killing many people. The world governments then blame the Avengers for all the collateral damage they leave behind, causing them to adopt the Sokovia Accords, an agreement that all superheroes must register and operate under government supervision. Ross is now Secretary of State, and he spearheads the Accords. Finally, he has a way to control all superheroes. The Avengers split into two camps, with Tony supporting the Accords while Steve is against them. So Steve voices concern against government oversight, and Sam stands by him.
What if this panel sends us somewhere we don't think we should go? What if there's somewhere we need to go and they don't let us?
However, Peggy passes away, so Steve decides the window's now open for him to hit on her niece, Sharon Carter. Gross. Super gross. Meanwhile, a former Sokovian Special Forces agent named Helmut Zemo is out to destroy the Avengers after his family died in Sokovia during Age of Ultron. Zemo hunts down a Hydra agent who tells him how to control the Winter Soldier, and he also finds out that Bucky killed Tony Stark's parents. So Zemo frames Bucky for the bombing of a UN building, which also kills T'Chaka, King of Wakanda. His son T'Challa vows vengeance against Bucky. By the way, T'Challa is also the superpowered hero, the Black Panther, who is the protector of Wakanda, and Wakanda is secretly the most technologically advanced nation in the world thanks to their stash of vibranium. So everybody's after Bucky, but Steve and Sam find him first. Bucky hasn't fully regained his memories yet, so his mind is a mush of old Bucky and the brainwashed Winter Soldier. Eventually, Steve, Bucky, and Sam are arrested, allowing Zemo to sneak into the facility and activate the Winter Soldier. So Bucky goes full T-800, wrecking everyone, almost killing Tony, and he almost escapes in a chopper, but Steve stops him with his super biceps. Bucky tells Steve and Sam that the other Winter Soldiers are on ice in Siberia, and they need to get there before Zemo can unleash them. Steve and Sam assemble a team that includes Bucky, Wanda, Hawkeye, and Ant-Man.
I know a guy.
Thanks for thanking of me.
And they go against Team Iron Man, which consists of Black Widow, War Machine, Black Panther, Vision, and Spider-Man. Also, something really important to remember here, Ross sends Tony to arrest Steve, and he's actually willing to kill him.
What happens when the shooting starts? What, do you kill Steve Rogers?
If we're provoked.
After a melee, Sam and the others buy enough time for Steve and Bucky to escape, and then Natasha turns on Tony after she hears that Zemo is planning on using brainwashed super soldiers. You see, Natasha was part of a spy organization that brainwashed young women, so she understands that Zemo is a major threat. After the battle, Sam and the others are arrested and taken to the Raft. It's an underwater prison created to hold superhumans, and it's supervised by Ross. Meanwhile, Tony figures out that Steve was right about Zemo. He gets intel from Sam and then heads off to Siberia, followed closely by the Black Panther. When Steve, Bucky, and Tony arrive at the Hydra facility, they discover that Zemo has already killed the sleeping Winter Soldiers.
But why?
Because Zemo thinks that any enhanced individual is too dangerous.
I'm here because I made a promise.
So this wasn't about unleashing a super army. Zemo plans to destroy the Avengers, and he actually succeeds by showing Tony a recording of Bucky killing his parents. Tony fights Steve and Bucky, but eventually Steve wins the fight and gives up his shield. The Avengers are now broken up.
Like a band? Like the Beatles?
Steve later prison breaks his team from the Raft, and they all go on the run. The Wakandans then help Bucky by erasing the Hydra brainwashing from his mind.
You are free.
Not long after, Ross is hunting down the Avengers, and he almost arrests Natasha. After that, she reunites with her sister and the rest of her dysfunctional adopted family, which includes the Russian Captain America, the Red Guardian, and they free the other mind-controlled Black Widows from control of the Red Room. And this is important because when Ross becomes president in Brave New World, his closest advisor is a former Black Widow. Meanwhile, the Mad Titan Thanos finally goes after the Infinity Stones, and he wants to use them to wipe out half of all life in the universe. When Wanda and Vision are attacked by his Black Order, they are saved by Steve, Sam, and Natasha. So, the heroes need Wakandan technology to remove the Mind Stone from Vision's head, and they need to use the Wakandan army that is strong enough to fend off Thanos' forces. Steve and Sam reunite with Bucky, who now has a new vibranium arm.
How much for the gun?
Not for sale.
Okay, how much for the arm? Oh, I'll get that up.
The heroes make a last stand on Wakanda against Thanos' army while Tony and some others fight Thanos in space. But despite their best efforts, Thanos wins. The Dusted include Sam, Bucky, and even poor Peter Parker. Shortly after the snap, the surviving Avengers go after Thanos, who has already reduced the stones to atoms, so there is no way to bring back the Dusted. 5 years later, everyone is still suffering from the snap. Steve tries to keep hope alive, so he holds support groups for survivors, the same way that Sam used to help veterans. And then enter Ant-Man, who has an idea to use the quantum realm for time travel. Steve and Nat bring the band back together. Now, for years, Banner and Hulk were in a constant conflict with one another, and it gets to the point where the Hulk refuses to even help save the world from Thanos. So Bruce figures out a way to merge his intelligence with the Hulk's body, and he becomes Smart Hulk, or I guess Professor Hulk.
Best of both worlds.
Tony invents time travel, then makes up with Steve, and the Avengers go into time heist to steal Infinity Stones. But while Steve is in the 70s, he sees Peggy, reminding him of that life that he lost. Natasha and Clint arrive on Vormir to collect the final Infinity Stone, where they meet the Red Skull, who was teleported to this world to guard the Soul Stone. After Natasha sacrifices herself, the Avengers bring back all the Dusted. But somehow, Thanos returns and destroys the Avengers compound. Steve, Tony, and Thor fight Thanos, and even with Steve showing he's worthy to lift Thor's hammer, he is just too powerful. Just as it looks like all hope is lost, Steve hears a friendly voice.
On your left.
Sam and all the other heroes ever arrive throughout portals.
Assemble.
The Avengers assemble and the battle for Earth begins. In the end, Tony gets the stones and snaps away Thanos, sacrificing his own life. Days later, Steve goes on a mission to bring back the stones to the past. However, he doesn't return. Instead, Sam finds an older Steve sitting in the distance. See, Steve went back in time and lived the rest of his days with Peggy. And then, old man Steve passes his shield to Sam.
I'll do my best. That's why it's yours.
And this brings us to the Disney Plus show The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So in the aftermath of the Battle of Earth, the Avengers are pretty much disbanded, and the Sokovia Accords are scrapped. But Sam doesn't become Captain America. He's still Falcon because there's a lot of legacy baggage that comes with being Captain America.
Symbols are nothing without the women and men that give them meaning.
As a black man, Sam is conflicted about taking on the mantle since people have an image of what Captain America should look like. And with America's racial history, Sam knows that every action he takes will be scrutinized, not by his merit, but based on the color of his skin. And since the world is so contentious after the blip, it's simpler to just stay his own man and let the Captain America legacy remain a symbol. So Sam donates the shield to the Smithsonian, but the government takes it and gives it to a former soldier named John Walker. So Walker represents everything that the public associates with Steve Rogers, so at first he seems like the ideal choice. Meanwhile, Sam's Air Force partner Joaquin Torres is investigating a new terrorist group called the Flag Smashers. Their leader is named Carly Morgenthau, and they target the GRC. That's a global organization that's failing to handle the massive refugee crisis after the blip. The Flag Smashers steal a new super soldier serum that turns them into super soldiers. So, to protect Steve's legacy, Sam and Bucky go after them. Bucky is still trying to atone for his time as the Winter Soldier, and he's pissed at Sam for giving up the shield.
So maybe he was wrong about you, and if he was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me.
Now, after the Flag Smashers kick their asses, Bucky takes Sam to meet Isaiah Bradley, who wants nothing to do with Sam and Bucky after the way the government treated him. With no other leads, they free Zemo, who takes him to Madripoor, which is basically the crime capital of the world. And there, Zemo dances. And then they meet up with Sharon Carter. But because she helped Steve and Sam, the government branded her an enemy of the state, so she became the power broker, the criminal overlord of Madripoor. She takes them to Wilfred Nagel, a scientist who created a new and better super serum by using Isaiah's blood. With the new serum, all it takes is an injection to become a super soldier. Nagel created this new serum for the power broker, but the Flag Smashers stole it to get superpowers. Then Zemo makes sure that Nagel will never create more serum.
Because once it's out there, someone can create an army of people. Like the Avengers.
Sam and Bucky finally confront the Flag Smashers while Sam tries to appeal to Carly's morality.
You're killing innocent people.
They're not innocent. They're roadblocks in my journey, and I'd kill them again if I had to.
Wow.
No. I didn't mean it like that. You tricked me into sounding like...
Like what?
And there are multiple other times in the show where Sam tries to solve problems with words and empathy rather than by using violence.
We don't want anyone else to get hurt.
But when Walker arrives, Zemo destroys all of the serum except for one vial. Now Walker is trying to prove that he deserves to be the next Steve Rogers, so he takes the formula. Carly kills Walker's best friend Lamar, sending a juiced up Walker into a super roid rage. The serum amplifies his worst traits and he goes full Homelander, murdering a Flag Smasher in public.
I Captain America.
Sam and Bucky arrest him, and then Bucky drops the bloodied shield next to Sam, forcing him to accept the responsibility and the legacy that comes with the mantle of Captain America. Now during the fight, Sam's wings are broken, but he gives them to Joaquin, symbolically passing on the mantle of the Falcon, and this is how he will become the new Falcon in Brave New World.
These broken wings and be my sidekick in the next movie.
Sam helps Bucky get over his Winter Soldier trauma and has a rocky training montage where he learns how to use that oversized frisbee. The Wakandans make Sam a new suit with vibranium wings and he officially becomes Captain America.
I'm sorry, wait, who are you? Captain America.
Anyways, the Flag Smashers attack the GRC in New York. Sam flies into the rescue with Bucky and even Walker helping out.
Well, I thought Walker was a bad guy.
Well, he got a third act redemption story.
I believe there's a hero in all of us that keeps us honest, gives us strength, makes us noble.
Anyways, it all comes down to one final confrontation between Sam and Carly. Carly is about to kill Sharon and Sam tries to reason with her one last time. But Carly is too far gone and Sharon shoots her dead. Afterwards, Sam confronts the government, telling them they must do better after failing to handle this refugee crisis. Sam also fixes what he can for Isaiah by ensuring that the world will know about his service and sacrifice. Also, Zemo is back on the raft, but even from his cell, he's able to kill the remaining Flag Smashers. So this is Sam's story so far, but before we explain the Celestial in the ocean, there's a couple more important things that you must know before watching Captain America Brave New World. John Walker is recruited by Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, a shadowy government op who gives Walker a new suit in the name U.S. Agent. Val also recruited Yelena Belova, Natasha's adopted sister.
Hi.
And during the conflict between Wakanda and Talokan, the president told Val that he wants to take offensive action against Wakanda to destabilize the nation and steal all their vibranium. Now, from what we know, the president at that time was James Ritson, who also declared war on the Skrulls and pretty much every other alien on the planet.
Need a gun. Give me your gun, goddammit.
Ritson's ineptitude does explain how Ross gets voted in as the new president.
They said lose the mustache or lose the election.
And Ross is probably involved with all of these shady conspiracies. Something else that might be important is what happens in the show She-Hulk. Jennifer Walters is Bruce Banner's cousin and she She-Hulks out after some of Bruce's blood leaks into her open wound. The gamma-radiated super blood transforms her into the She-Hulk.
Bruh.
And later, some rich weirdo steals her blood and he also hulks out.
Yeah, come at me, bro. That's what the kids call epic fail.
So again, we see how Banner's Hulk blood can infect others and turn them into Hulk-like monsters, and this could be important for how Ross becomes the Red Hulk. Now, the central conflict in Brave New World will revolve around a giant statue sticking out of the ocean, so this is actually a cosmic being called a Celestial.
A celestial like a god?
Small G, son.
So this gets super weird, but stick with me. The Celestials are space gods who create stars and galaxies and keep life in the universe going, and they procreate by impregnating planets with seeds.
Did you make a penis?
Dude.
What is wrong with you?
If he's a planet, how could he make a baby with your mother? He would smush her.
Then they send guardians called the Eternals to those planets to guard the populace until the seed is ready to hatch. This kills everyone on the planet, but allows life in the universe to flourish. Now on Earth, the Eternals rebel against the Celestials, and one of them, Circe, stopped the emergence by transmuting the space god into a metal called adamantium.
I present to you adamantium.
And adamantium is, of course, the indestructible metal from the comics and the Fox movies, and it's what Wolverine's bones are coated with. And that is Captain America's story so far. So guys, this covers everything you need to know before watching Captain America Brave New World. If there's anything we missed or if you have any questions, let me know in the comments or on our free-to-join Discord server, Twitter, Blue Sky, or Threads. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe, smash that bell for alerts. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy.